welcome everybody to this week's PD. It was, hello. I was allowed to do the PD for this week, so hopefully we'll try to stay on track as much as possible. We don't veer off too much. For this week, we thought it'd be, since we deal so much with media here at the center, it'd be a good idea to go into what exactly we do here, how we help with the course building process as far as making your media interactive, videos, podcasts, that sort of thing. So we're going to go over why they're important, number one, and what we can do here. If you haven't done so already, here's the link for the interactive part. The Alley link, I'll leave it up there for a few minutes for any of our online people. Is there anyone online?
Yeah, there's one online I shared with online as well. So they could just go ahead and click that link that I put in the chat box.
Okay. So for the objectives, since we are educators, we love objectives. We're going to go over what qualifies as attitudes towards what are our attitudes towards the use of technology in the classroom. The reasons why it's important to create media content. How does this help bring our content from physical classroom to the online environment? And what we do here at the center for that to assist you guys with all that. So first things first, I wanted to kind of get a general idea of the room and how we feel about using technology in our classroom, and on our Blackboard and that sort of thing as for right now. How do you guys use it in the classroom?
You mean the physical classroom?
In the physical or in the online, how do you feel about how it works and how it works for you, or if it doesn't work, what are your attitudes towards it?
I think that, obviously we know that people are very, in this day and age, are very technology oriented.
Yeah.
They're very into social media, obviously, these are, so I think that, especially for students now, undergraduate students that I work with primarily, you have to, find ways to reach them that appeal to them. So I think that it's like a second language, second nature to them. And you just take advantage of that, but provide a variety of mediums to deliver content.
Second nature and variety. Those are two huge things. Especially since now we've become such a technology-driven society, it's losing everywhere. So you might as well take advantage of it. It's right there. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
They like it. They like something is not normal. It's not like something outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
So something not usual. So that attracts them.
Yeah, they don't have to go sit and listen to another lecture.
Yeah, and if they have an option,
Yeah.
Options. It's very good.
I have mixed feelings about technology. I am intrigued and captivated by its possibilities, but at the same time, it intimidates me. So there's that thing of, I feel that for our students, they're not afraid to try, but I will feel a little bit intimidated, but by not knowing exactly how to use them.
Can I add to that? I have experience teaching, elementary school, and now, working with undergraduate students, and they're so excited about it. And there are so many possibilities, but at the same time, I found that in some cases, I used to try so much to incorporate technology that I would abandon good old-fashioned teaching strategies, which some students really need. So there needs to be that balance. And whereas students are they like to try it, isn't necessarily the best way to deliver your content. So that definitely is something you have to keep in mind.
Yes, it's definitely a balance.
And I was going to add to the same thing too. I love it, and I love trying out new things and trying to figure out what something new is and how I can use it. And I'm not gonna use it in the front of the classroom until I know
That's
good and
very
well
true.
it's
That's
exactly gonna work the way
I
I
love
think it
Yes,
is.
that's
Yeah,
very true. You don't want
So-
something to go wrong when
yeah. I'm
You know,
I'm not
in the middle
going
of
to
life
embarrass myself in front of
you embarrass yourself. on your own.
technology literate students.
Is there anything else you think we should add here?
It's true. It can be connecting, like a connector for leverage. So if you have something set up, there might be a learning curve to get some technology set up,
Mhm.
but it can be used to your advantage. To, for instance, like turn it in. If you have all your responses already there, then you can just click over, and it's simple once everything's set up. So it can be used to your advantage.
That's the thing. When you don't know, you think it's more complicated than it is. But once you try it, then you see, huh,
It's not as bad as I thought. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And Aslam was just telling me about the need for chemistry labs, right?
Yeah.
Because of the vast numbers of students that need to have the chemistry labs, and there's no place to put that many students in, so
Oh, like
there's,
the actual physical space.
yeah, physical space is not there.
Physical place, that's why we started online hub.
Yeah,
And it
virtual
will be
labs,
more maybe, depending on the,
yeah.
how much registered students.
That's very true.
I have one more question, like,
Sure.
learning to use it, is it something that you, I mean, it's basically your opinion.
Mm.
Do you recommend doing it on your own, or do you recommend getting help?
Well, you know, like with anything having to do with technology, a lot of the programs, so there's several ways to do something. You're trying to get from point A to point B. There might be different ways of how to get there based on how that person's used to using that technology. So sometimes it's easier to kind of find your own way, like the way I work with video or the way I work with graphics would be totally different than the way Brian does, even though we kind of do sort of the same thing. But you know, getting that basic understanding and knowledge of how to build something out of it, and then from there you can grow out into your own style and your own way of saving time and that sort of thing. It's kind of go hand in hand. Erase all this.
I like the way that looks.
Oh,
That's so cute.
all you want?
Hold on. You guys have to see this.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of you might have seen already this commercial. It was a Geico ad that I saw. I've seen a few times over the last month, but it has to do with technology and everything going wrong when it does. That would be a good job.
Amazing technology in Geico's mobile app. Contact e-cards, service. I can't spend time. Geico's mobile app was
Great.
So I wanted to start off by saying, number one, don't be afraid of technology. This is an awesome quote by the former CEO of Microsoft. It says, the number one benefit of information technology is that it empowers people to do what they want to do. It lets people be creative, lets people be productive. It lets people learn things they didn't think they can learn before. And so in a sense, it's all about potential. Sometimes we think too much about what can possibly go wrong that we set ourselves up for being a little afraid of it before you've actually reached an obstacle. You know, and at the end of the day, the computer isn't gonna complain. If you do something wrong, there's always a reset button. You can always start again. So you don't have to worry too much about breaking something. You know, that's the beauty of having this technology, is that we can do it a few times without having to worry about that sort of thing. So this puts us to our first problem. How do I get students, my students, to digest my content? You know, if you're going from a physical form into an online format, how do we make sure that, number one, it's engaging, number two, it's easy to understand, and number three, your content is still your content and your kind of personal flair is still there. Might have to click back. It's not letting me click.
There you go.
So number one, who is your audience? The reason, and this is also has to do not only with the online format, this I work a lot with media, and in general, we always ask who are audiences, you know? What you teach in your beginner's class might be different than what you teach in your intermediate and expert course. You know, so it's important to think where they'll be when they come in, what might be their perspective, how would they kind of picture yourself in their shoes when they're sitting in your course watching your video for the first time. Oh, this is the Google Slides part. If you go to this link, you'll be able to answer a few questions. We'll go over them. And now think again, this is from the shoes of a student. So when you're answering these two questions, think about it from your student's perspective. See, someone's adding images and stuff down there.
Okay.
You mean their perspective on the content or the type of media?
Where they're coming from, basically. What do you think might be their thoughts initially going into your course and looking at your content for the first time, or you know, throughout the course? And the other thing is also what might be some of their questions, you know, as you go building your course out and we work with you to build your media content and all that. You know, the beauty of it is that all this becomes reusable materials that you can then use semester after semester. So as you go teach your course, you'll kind of get a feel for what is that kind of gray area. Maybe if your students are all struggling with the same topic or the same sort of question, that might be something that then you can do a micro learning unit and you'll cover that. So you're basically filling in the cracks of where your students may be struggling with. So as you go teaching your course semester by semester, you go molding into something that's bulletproof, basically. That's important to remember what their questions might be. And also I think that might make your jobs a little easier as well, because then it's less questions you get throughout the semester, right? A little time saving opportunities always welcome. Most people have stopped typing. The first slide here. How to succeed in an online lab. It's obviously important. Is it going to be friendly to use? That can be also a good way to segue into, I was going to talk later on this presentation about local compatibility, since we did bring up the phones and stuff earlier. You know, since students use that a lot, it's important to keep that in mind. They can basically walk around with your course in their back pocket and be able to access it on demand at any time they want. And also, when you're designing all these things, you want to make sure that they are mobile friendly, that they work on Apple and Android products, and we'll guide you through all that.
I know the Blackboard app, not all of the features seem to be to work. Have other people found that?
It depends, yeah. They're constantly updating stuff and changing things, but whenever, you know, something like that does happen, releasing features, but sometimes also the old features don't work so well. Right. That's why they're always constantly updating. And the Blackboard Ultra, Blackboard is a little confusing in their online store on both iPhone and Apple, because they have actually two different apps. They have regular Blackboard and Blackboard Ultra. You can the student can download Blackboard Ultra and sign into your course, and they get extra features on there that they don't have on the regular Blackboard. They're transitioning over from their Blackboard 9 to Ultra on their mobile devices. They haven't officially shut off the other one. So students have the option of two, and they don't know which one to download. I realized that because I downloaded the wrong one originally. some hands up. First ups. It's
It's a lot of content, so I would think initially pretty organized, so. I mean, I feel like any student entering an online course wants to know how it's organized and how are they going to be successful, what are the requirements of the course, and also how to access and how to get help when they need it. I answered the question correctly, but I would think, I mean, in any online course, in any course, but when you're online, those are things I think that you want to be able to figure out right away.
Yeah, and in an online course, they don't have that, well, I know I'm gonna see her next Tuesday.
Right. And some students are much more savvy about that and have no
Yeah.
problem emailing right away every day with a question. Like,
Yeah.
and I'd rather them do that than not hear from them, and then all of a sudden, I'm chasing them down.
And yeah, for sure. And also when I read that, I thought about the navigational video,
Mm-hmm.
of how to use the course, where the syllabus may be, where the discussion board may be, how to reach you.
Which I do,
Yeah,
mind
that's
you.
great.
I walk them through everything, but it's on the start here menu.
Exactly.
You can't make them watch it. You can
Yeah.
need a
Yeah, the
course to
most you
water,
can
but
do
yeah.
is add it as like a quiz question or something
Mhm.
like that in the beginning. But
yes.
that's supposed to kind of aid, sort of like it would be your first day of class, maybe going over the syllabus, introducing yourself, the expectations of the course, that sort of thing. And I also have some instructors that like to do a about me sort of video, where they actually introduce themselves. We actually get to see them on camera, even though they may not physically be there or they won't see their image throughout the course. At least for that one instance, a student will be able to, understand that there's a human on the other end of the screen.
That's really
I do that too.
Yeah, that's becoming more popular, which is exciting for me to see that.
I actually just did it of me sitting on my couch in my house, so
Uh-huh.
I could see that I was
Hey, I'm a
like a
person.
normal
too.
person,
Yeah,
and I think that that's
definitely.
important, whether or not they take the time
It
to
is.
listen, but I know I would if I were a student.
Yeah, definitely. And for you?
Well, from a student perspective, what do I have to do? Is it something I can handle with my current skills? Can I easily figure it out? And then the proverbial, how many words, how many pages, how many references? What is it tell me exactly what you want me to do and I'll do it.
What do I need to do to get an A?
Yeah.
Or a B, depending on what type of student you are. And what's the image that you put there?
That's number love. Get out there, change it yourself.
Like that. And Mary.
Yeah, I have 2 teenage kids, and I see they use technology for dating. For example, they start chatting and they start talking on their phones.
Yes.
They order food on their phones. I mean, they leave technology. So to me, I have seen that there's a disconnect between using technology for learning and the rest of their lives. So from their perspective, I feel that they would want it to feel the same way. It's something that I can grab and have with me and use it in very uncomplicated ways, I would say.
When you were saying that, I was thinking about, distance learning is going from physical to the virtual classroom is only a change in sort of like, if you think about it as transportation, it's like you're going just from one mode of transportation to another. It's still your course, your content's still there, your students are still there, you're just, the delivery method is changing.
That's a great analogy too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was the other questions?
That was all.
Why do I have to watch this video and respond to it? Yeah, sometimes you do get the students like that. They're like, why do I have to do this?
Like I was gonna say, just as you're talking, I think I don't wanna call it a mistake, but something that happens a lot of times. When people put technology in their class, they think it automates the class, and so the presence is not as
Yes.
important, and that's something that I've noticed a lot with people put videos and think that their presence, their comments, their real-time feedback and critique of the student then somehow is not as necessary. And I think that technology has to be just a tool, just another trick in the bag in a way, because it can't teach the class.
And isn't it Dr. Rogers that talks about the fact that he can be walking across campus and have students come up to him and
Yes.
start talking to him
Yes.
based on the fact that they saw
Yes.
his videos.
Yes.
And they know
Doesn't
his
have a-
voice or who he is.
Yeah, they know his voice.
So
And his
it definitely
feedback.
can
Yeah.
put that personal spin on it, even though initially they think, okay, well, it's automated and I'm out of the picture.
Yeah.
Not so.
It's all about balance. And the students are able to pick up on that sort of thing. If it's going off
Yes.
too much one way, the spot evaluations will usually say that. And we already said this, what can be their possible questions? What I would think this as, like I said, a way for you to save some of your time. Once you start teaching this a few semesters, you would pick up on what your students' questions may be if they're asking sort of the same thing. Why not do a little micro learning thing, a little 1 to 2 minute video explaining either if it's a math thing, explaining that equation, explaining that method. If it's Dr. Roberts has to do with he works a lot with maps and satellites. If it's explaining images and high resolution and that sort of thing, why not do a little 1 to 2 minute video on that? And what would be your objectives for this? Number one, you want to make sure your students are engaged, just like in the physical classroom. Even though it might be a little easier in the physical classrooms, you can see which ones are looking at you and which ones are sleeping. But there's ways to track this also on an online environment. We have analytics. Any video that we do here gets put in Echo 360. Echo 360, you can log on the back end and you can see exactly which students are watching a video, how much of it they're watching. If they're watching, it gives you this little map, and you can see if they're watching the beginning, if they're skipping the middle, watching the end, that sort of thing, and it date stamps everything. So you can see what time they went on, and that's a good thing to have in your back pocket. If then you have a student who's, I'm not really understanding this topic. So you haven't watched anything, that's why you're not understanding the topic, that sort of thing. And we're also, later on this year, we're moving to a more updated platform for hosting videos and stuff like that. That'll give the instructors actually more power. We give them more analytics. You'll be able to see if they're watching on a mobile phone, if they're watching on a computer. You'll be able to see a lot more of that information on the back end as well. Present information, it's gonna be a little more, and I was a student, I know this as well, it's a little bit more difficult to digest information if it's just in text format. And were you gonna say something?
No, I was just saying, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also that the use of different sort of medias helps reach all the learner types. Some of us are more visual, some of us are more text-based, that sort of thing. And it's important to make sure that you're reaching all of them. And then your media would be like this nice little package. The content is yours. You're the subject matter expert. Now we're just putting a nice little gift wrap and a little bow on it for you. That sort of thing. You want to make sure you promote critical thinking. This is where the use of discussion boards, comment section on videos, that sort of thing will pop in. You want to strive for efficiency. Like I already said, these become reusable areas. So you don't have to keep redoing these. You just have to do some updating. Maybe if you switch to a new textbook and there's some other topics that you want to add, you want to take some stuff out, all that stuff. And that power is on you as well, because when you build something here with us, we go through the videos, you have admin privileges to those videos. So you can go in there, delete what you want, add what you want, do all that stuff. Show valuable connections. These become a repository of information as they go through the course. We're in Unit 9. Let's say you did a video in Unit 2 that relates to this. A student can easily go back a few units and rewatch that video. I know some students actually also, listen to the videos on their way to work. They just play it in their car and they let it sit there and they're just listening to lecture, the PowerPoint narration, that sort of thing. And like I said before, local content.
I have a professor who uses the same videos, let's say at the beginning, and then from that place, the takeaway is, let's say, very simple. And then she uses it again towards the end. And the takeaway is building up on what she got the first time she used it, and then something new for the second time or the third time that she used it. So I thought that's showing connections between not only your content, but the skills that you're building and how you're making your students engage with a single piece of content.
And also you can think a bit about it on the flip side as well. This might also be a good way for students to get involved in the creation of this content, you know, in group projects, collaborations and little videos and that sort of thing. And even though it might seem, you know, a little bit, I don't want to say far-fetched, that might not be a good word, but the fact is, and in a lot of business where a lot of these technologies are being used every day, you know, so if we can hit 15 birds with one stone, it's always easier to do that a little bit.
No.
Not 2, not 3, 15. Well, why is this important? Why should we go through all this trouble to put media into our online courses? Well, statistics show that, you know, as we go advancing more in mobile platforms and faster internets on mobile phones and that sort of thing, you know, more people are watching videos. You know, and you can clearly see this change over the years, as well as with podcasts. You know, podcasts are, in my opinion, they're going to replace radio at some point. The same way as, you know, internet videos on demand, either, you know, Netflix, that sort of thing, news, I have the CNN app, I watch it every morning, that sort of thing. That's going to be moving away from cable television. You know, it's going to become all on demand with me at all times. So, I need to hop on the bandwagon. And now the next problem. Well, how do I do all this? How can I do this? Here are some of these options that we have here at the Center for eLearning. Number one, like I said, podcasts. Podcasts would be more of that audio sort of thing. You know, kind of like a lecture, but not necessarily so visually heavy. We have a few of our faculty members that like doing that way, and they use the podcast little intros to their units. So, you know, the course has 12 units. They do a little 2 to 3 minute podcasts introducing the unit, what's due that week, what the expectations would be, that sort of thing. For narration.
Can I back up on the podcast? I had a student last semester who was visually impaired. And whenever she would come to me with a question, instead of, you know, typing an email answer back to her, I would just do the Audacity and record a response for her and send that off to her, so she had that to listen to rather than try to figure out reading my email.
So it becomes like a way of communication.
Yeah.
Direct.
I probably wasn't technically a podcast, but I just did short
It's a
audio.
podcast, there's voice on it, there's information on it.
And the other thing about podcasts is that they feel more like storytelling
Yes.
than a lecture.
Mhm.
And students may relate to that easily.
Definitely. And narration is one of the other things we do here. This would kind of sort of be like lecturing in your physical classroom. If you have any PowerPoints and that sort of thing that you use in your physical classroom, we have a recording studio here with microphones and all that sort of thing, so we can actually sit you in front of your PowerPoint as if you were in the classroom, and you would just, you know, go through your lecture, you know, summarize the PowerPoint, whatever you feel like. You can actually click through it like as if you were in class, and it will turn out to be a video format. But then that we can put into your course. And most people decide not to, but you could be on camera for this sort of thing. What it does is we can turn on a camera on you, and it places you on the bottom right corner of your narration, so that it adds a little bit more of a personal feel. But sometimes, you know, some people like to be on camera, some don't, so it's like a case-by-case basis. And which leads me into on-camera video. This is actually an option that we started exploring more this year, and it's becoming a little bit more popular. What we've done recently is we actually in our studio, we have a green screen, kind of like, you know, the weatherman kind of thing. So we have the faculty member come in, stand in front of the green screen. They would do the narration of their PowerPoint. you know, like as if they were lecturing, you know, talking to the students and whatnot. And then we can actually place them in front of their PowerPoint. So then the content would be here, and the student would still have the ability to see them speaking. You know, that is a little bit more intensive as far as setting it all up, but that is one of the possibilities. And then another thing too is we've done sort of mini documentary sort of things, where the faculty member, we've actually gone to their office and recorded them speaking about something or showing examples of something, that sort of thing. Well, compatibility, I already said that, but what I mean by that is the way stuff gets squished depending on what screen you're using. Some websites that are mobile friendly, what'll happen is either stuff will be off screen and the student might not even know that there's stuff in there. You know, we might not even see it. Sometimes text goes over text, that sort of thing. And for accessibility, Brian knows more about accessibility.
Well, accessibility, we try to make sure if they come through the Center for eLearning, all videos are captioned, YouTube captions. You could do this on your own. Every YouTube video that's uploaded, it auto-generates captions that are editable, because sometimes it doesn't, I guess, catch every single word that exactly the way that you like it. But if you come through the Center for eLearning, we do Echo 360 captions, which are very good captions that come with transcripts as well. I do the PowerPoint accessibilities for the alt tags for images and high contrast designs for limited vision, students with limited vision. And alt tags to just help with screen readers and everything, so everybody has a fair shot and a level playing field when they take the course.
And this is the steps that we take to make sure that every course that comes through here is ADA compliant. And you know, the students, I believe when they register to a course, they have 1 week to register. Is it 1 week to register with the office?
I don't know about the timing, but they are all encouraged to
Yeah, they
register
are.
through the students with student accessibility services.
Yeah, so basically they would have the option of captioning. The caption is also screen reader friendly, so it could read on a screen reader as well. And also, you can download the text file, put it into a Word, and it becomes a searchable document. It might be a good study material for a student too. They can print a transcript of what was said in your entire video and search through it, certain items, that sort of thing. And these are all parts of our course building process here. And in summary, I know we spoke a little bit about the technologies that we use here. Spoke a little bit about the reasons why making these technologies would be important to your online environment. And we shared some options here that we had. And is there any questions or input maybe that you guys might have?
I have an issue that I can't really fix right now because I have other things to do. But for a course that I've already been teaching online, I got thrown into and just built it as I went along with someone else's template, I guess, last semester. And I recorded lecture videos because the content's very heavy.
Yeah.
It's linguistics and it's new to them. So my videos are too long. Like
Okay.
I have multiple parts.
Yeah.
I try to keep them around, 15 minutes max, the chunks. Some of them are as long as 25, 30 minutes. There could be 2 parts, there could be 5 parts.
Yeah.
And I know it's too much, but I don't know how to, without them not getting it. I don't know what to do. I do like narration. I use Screencast-O-Matic, which Judy had recommended to me, and it's, I don't put myself on there. My face is not in the corner, it's just me narrating my slides, and I'll stop and have activities, and then they do the activities, and then I go over them, on the screen, whatever, but I don't know what to do. Do you have any?
Well, the good and bad thing about Screencast-O-Matic, number one, is that it limits you to 15 minutes. It saves.
Well, I paid for it.
Oh, you have to pay one.
Which I didn't, it's really cheap. It's like $15 for a year.
Yeah.
But I didn't pay for it until like October. And I would wish that I had looked into how much it was, because 15 minutes is good. But sometimes it doesn't break at a natural point.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You'd like to be able to wrap up one. So anyways, yes. But yeah.
And that was the natural point was what I was going to say next. What I find that I do, and I help a lot of the instructors do, is sometimes when we're in the physical classroom format, PowerPoints might be 30 slides, 40 slides long, and we might not know.
Right.
Well, I think it's important to kind of try to find those natural points in your PowerPoint beforehand
Yes.
and set yourself up that way. You know, you have the 20, 30 slide PowerPoint, split it up in maybe 10s or 15, try to find that natural point, and then you're separating them beforehand. So when you're going through recording, there's no way you can go over 20 minutes because there's no more slides.
I do that, and maybe I'm just long-winded. I don't know.
okay.
And I feel I come from teaching English language
Yeah.
learners, so for me, I repeat and I rephrase what I've said because that's just a strategy that I've used for
and I do
teaching.
that sometimes.
So I know that it's a lot of it might be a little bit redundant, which is
Yeah.
something that I probably could work on if I were to. I'm not going to record them again because I'm doing
That's
another
it.
class. But someday I would like to really go back and revisit it because it's definitely gotten better and I've gotten great feedback from my students. They love the videos and everything, but I know in my heart, like especially as the semester goes on, they're not watching them all. You know, they'll watch the ones that they need specifically for an assignment or for one part, because I always have a modeling part that goes along with part of their critical assignment, and it's the last video in the session. So that could be the only one they watch, but if they haven't watched the other ones, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I need to just be more conscious of that.
Samantha, that's part of the beauty of having multiple short ones. If I know I need to reinforce, you know, I didn't get what you said the first 3 times I heard it, I'm going to go back and pick it up again. Or
I just know that some of them, like I have some that are 30 minutes, like very few, like 25, 30 minutes. Like, it's too long. So I don't know. I don't know I don't know. I'm just looking for. I don't know what
You can revisit how you split it and how the content lives with that. So if that directly correlates with something here, and then you can split that and make that flow a little bit. But that's kind of revisiting from the beginning now, just redesigning it back out.
And I have another question, because I know that there, just from teaching the course, that there are always some things that the students have questions on. And I've done all my lectures on YouTube. I haven't used Echo yet, but I probably, I guess, will when I build my other one here. But is there a tool that I could use to just do a quick video, like to send out weekly? Or is there something different? Is there anything else you could recommend? You know, just to go over. I've been getting a lot of questions about this, guys. Just wanted to, without it, I mean, I guess it could stay on YouTube, but something a little bit less permanent.
Blackboard, the tool has been Collaborate.
Okay.
That sort of quick sort of thing. I haven't messed around with that sort of thing in Canvas just yet.
Right.
But as we go moving forward, I remember they did in the demo, they did show us a live recording session.
Yeah, well, Michelle Vaughn told me that in Canvas there's some kind of a tool, or maybe even Blackboard Ultra as well, that you can, on like the announcements page or
You
something.
can record. We saw
But we don't have that now, do we?
In Blackboard, it's Collaborate is the option.
Well,
in
but
Canvas,
Collaborate is not something we've used for that. But Collaborate is more for
web chat.
either office hours, virtual office hours, or an actual
Synchronous
course session, synchronous course session, because Collaborate isn't quite that easy for just doing a quick thing. Screencast-O-Matic would be.
But just to do it and just do it, upload it to YouTube.
Yeah, but
you could put the videos as private or something, and
which
then,
that's how my whole channel is.
yeah, exactly.
I don't
So
wanna,
then
like,
you could
search
set it
all
up
my
with
stuff.
password requirement or something.
Okay.
So
well,
so
can
it's-
I believe you could also save it as just an MP4 in there and then just
upload
Embed
it
it
directly
into
to.
post
there.
that,
Yep.
you know, send them the link to that MP4
And-
without running it through.
And it won't be too much, like, memory.
No, I don't think, no,
That's what I
not
was
where you're
gonna say.
talking short ones.
you want to be careful not to upload too much media at least for Blackboard. You want to be downloading too much into there, because what happens is that every course is limited to around 500 megabytes. And I know for the videos that we do here, each video ranges anywhere from 2 to 300 megabytes. So for instance, we put 1.5 videos up there, nothing else will fit in your course. So that's why it's good to make sure you're linking out to YouTube. To
Okay, so maybe I can do it. I mean, I could always
Yeah.
make the video unavailable after. I mean, not that it matters. I don't think anybody's gonna go look.
Yeah.
If they
There are
want
a
to, they're
couple
more
of
than
other
welcome to.
places to be able to store them and then just link to them. Flipasaurus is one that I've used, and there's a couple others that I've used.
Yeah, it's just, I already foresee like certain, they're announcement type things,
Yeah.
something that I would send out an announcement, you know, I'm giving you feedback on your drafts. I expect it to be reflected in your final draft, which you would think would be up, isn't done. Still getting over that from last semester, but I want to, you know, I want to just be clear of who I am. It's, you know, but it's like you can only send out so many announcements. Like one of my spots for my first semester was that I sent too much email. Or one student said that I sent too many messages, and then it became, you know, it was useless. So, you know, I just try to. It's one student, but I don't know. I'm just a different method. But I guess I could, you know, continue with the
And it's also that little reminder. Don't forget to do this.
Exactly, but you know, and I just feel like if they hear me saying it, maybe it'll, you know, stick a little bit more. Or, you know, just to clarify if I'm getting questions, you know, you could always post an announcement, but for me, it's helpful to hear someone say it also.
But I know for sure that in Canvas it's really easy. The demo that we saw, the same little text box where you would put in content in any little area, you hit the little video button, you hit record your video, you hit send, and it's there.
That's great.
And it's all cloud-based too, so I don't believe we're gonna have all the same sort of memory limitations. Yeah, we might have a little bit more.
Are we switching to Canvas spring or spring next year?
I'm not sure of the timeline, but it is pretty big. I believe there's like a year.
I think the Blackboard expires in May or next year.
Next year. I know there's a year. There's gonna be a full year. We'll have both. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any questions?
I'm long-winded, obviously.
No, definitely.
This is my
I
problem.
like that. Then I don't have to talk so much. Alrighty. Well, for our upcoming ones, our friends at the library will be coming over again. You know, they always have some awesome information for us. And then after that, me and Brian will be doing another session on what little tips and tricks and what ways we can help you with making sure you don't run into obstacles or issues making your videos. And I believe our next media-related one is 2 PDs after. We'll actually be talking about what free options there are available to do your recordings. We'll go into Screencast-O-Matic, that sort of.
And next week is going to be just a really very much an overview on hybrid and flipped and how to rethink what we do based on that.